Welcome to Glam Slam, a market showdown. In the glamorous world of beauty and cosmetics, three companies rise above the rest, each battling for dominance, influence, and the loyalty of millions around the globe. Our spotlight today falls on L'Oreal and Estée Lauder. We'll evaluate the competition using our criteria for rival analysis and examine the broader landscape through industry analysis. The stage is set. Let the rivalry unfold. Now let's proceed to how each beauty powerhouse matches up financially. Let's walk through the different financial metrics used to compare these companies, beginning with the liquidity and profitability ratios, followed by the cash conversion cycle, and lastly the DuPont equation and the computation on the return on equity. The current and quick ratios tell a story as to how liquid the companies are in terms of their ability to cover their short-term obligations. As far as current ratios are concerned, Estée Lauder consistently maintains a stronger current ratio compared to Coty and L'Oreal across these years, indicating better liquidity overall. On the other hand, the quick ratios indicate that Estée Lauder shows the strongest liquidity, with inventory making up a large portion of their current assets. It's also important to note that higher is better when it comes to these ratios. The profitability ratios of gross and operating profit margins indicate the percentage of revenue that remains after covering various expenses, the cost of goods sold in the former's case and the operating expenses for the latter's. It is indicated in the GPM that all three companies have strongly covered their cost of goods sold. However, decreases are apparent in the operating profit margin, with L'Oreal creating a huge gap against its two biggest rivals, cementing its role as a market leader. Note that the higher the ratio, the more efficient. The days accounts payable outstanding, days sales outstanding, and days inventory on hand are components to the cash conversion cycle, which is a detrimental metric in comparing these three companies in terms of repayment of their liabilities. As you can see, Estée Lauder holds inventory significantly longer, implying a slower inventory turnover. Coty collects payments after the sale the fastest, thereby improving from their 2020 value, and Coty and L'Oreal delay paying suppliers much longer than Estée Lauder. The higher DPO the better, but very high days outstanding might hurt supplier relationships, as in Coty's case. Which brings us to the cash conversion cycle, which measures how many days it takes for a company to convert its investments in inventory and other resources into cash flows from sales. The graph shows us positive and negative CCCs, implying that a positive CCC indicates slower cash flow efficiency, such as in the case of Estée Lauder. On the other hand, negative CCCs are better for liquidity and cash flow recovery, since the company gets cash from customers before repayment to suppliers. These are the components that make up the computation of our return on equity, which are the net profit margin, the financial leverage, and the asset turnover ratio. For the net profit margin, L'Oreal displays the most consistent NPM for the entire 5-year span, while Estée Lauder peaked in 2021 and declined, and Coty had negative margins initially, but consistently improved positively. The financial leverage then shows that Coty has the highest initial financial leverage but steadily declined. Estée Lauder has moderate leverage, closely comparable to Coty's, while L'Oreal has the lowest leverage, indicating a conservative approach to financing through less debt. Lastly, for their asset turnover ratios, L'Oreal consistently has the highest asset turnover ratio, peaking in 2022. They are very efficient in using their assets to generate sales, while Coty is improving but still have remained inefficient out of the bunch. Gathering all of these, we get the return on equity ratios, signifying that L'Oreal has the most steady and stable percentages, reflecting consistent performance as a top brand in the market. Moreover, Estée Lauder peaked initially, then dropped significantly in the recent years, while Coty has shown promise that it can compete with these big brands after a massive drop in 2020, improving each year. To sum it all up, L'Oreal has been the most consistent and reliable, Estée Lauder has been the most volatile in recent years, and Coty has been improving from significant losses, showing that it can compete with the other two. Now let's go take a look at the value chains of the market leader, L'Oreal. This is the value chain of the rival, Estée Lauder. There are a lot of differences that can be observed between the three companies. Coty and L'Oreal both have major divisions for luxury and affordable brands, sharing similar firm hierarchies with Estée Lauder. All three employ large teams across key functions, but Coty stands out with multi-division Scrum and SWAT teams for efficiency. Coty leads in AI and machine learning use, while L'Oreal dominates in patents, revealing gaps in innovation. In procurement, L'Oreal and Coty prioritize sustainable, eco-friendly sourcing through supplier partnerships. All three companies source high-quality materials and enforce supplier codes, with Coty and L'Oreal having dedicated supplier programs. Coty and Estée Lauder use AI and automation in their supply chains and production, while Coty uniquely applies AI in operations. All have global distribution centers, but Coty and L'Oreal tailor logistics by region. Marketing-wise, all are strong on digital platforms, with L'Oreal leading as the fourth largest advertiser across industries. Coty Coty and L'Oreal manage multiple brands, and Estee Lauder focuses on a personalized approach. After-sales services are similar across all three. Coty enters the industry with giants L'Oreal and Estée Lauder. Let's take a look at their strategies that focus on marketing, operations, finance, and growth. L'Oreal's Beauty for Each strategy uses AI and regional insights to personalize products for diverse global markets. Estée Lauder drives engagement through influencer partnerships and Vision AI, while their omni-channel approach ensures a seamless shopping experience. Coty targets Gen Z with social media-first campaigns and leverages its luxury portfolio, including Chloe and licensed fragrances like Gucci. In operations, L'Oreal's decentralized model enables agile market adaptation, while Estée Lauder integrates sustainability into its practices. Coty enhances efficiency with AI and cost-saving measures like automated warehouses. Financially, L'Oreal invests heavily in R&D and strategic acquisitions like Galderma. Estée Lauder restructures for improved margins and expands through acquisitions such as Dr. Jart+. Coty reduces debt and focuses on profitability through smart cost-saving strategies. For growth, L'Oreal targets 1.3 billion customers with inclusive innovation and acquisitions like Miu Miu. Estée Lauder expands in Asia Pacific and e-commerce, while Coty grows in China, travel retail, and skincare with acquisitions like Orveda. In essence, their strategies are tailored to the evolving needs of consumers around the world. The real deal lies if these strategies take them to the next, if not the top level. Now we move on to VRIO. L'Oreal's VRIO Analysis reveals that while the company possesses several valuable and well-organized resources, such as its global brand portfolio, centralized strategy with local execution, and in-house digital innovations, most provide only temporary competitive advantages or competitive parity rather than long-term sustainable advantages. Key strengths like its 37-brand portfolio and R&D capabilities are rare now, but can be replicated over time, while operational efficiencies like certified manufacturing and distribution networks are industry standard. To maintain leadership, L'Oreal must deepen its innovation like proprietary tech, accelerate sustainability efforts, and enhance brand exclusivity, as none of its current resources are fully inimitable. The company's competitive edge is strong, but not unassailable, requiring continuous investment to stay ahead of rivals. Estée Lauder's VRIO Analysis shows that while the company has valuable and well-organized resources, most provide only competitive parity, like their ethical supplier contracts, specialized manufacturing, and logistics network, as they are common in the premium beauty industry. Its temporary competitive advantages come from AI or AR personalization tools and brand autonomy within a centralized strategy, which are differentiated now but can be replicated over time by rivals like L'Oreal. Crucially, Estée Lauder lacks sustainable competitive advantages, as no resources are fully rare or inimitable. To maintain its market position, the company must deepen its technological edge in personalization, accelerate sustainable innovation, and strengthen brand exclusivity. Otherwise, its current advantages risk erosion as competitors catch up. The analysis underscores that Estée Lauder's strengths are impressive but not impervious to competition. Now we go to the critique of the companies. Let's start with L'Oreal, a global leader in cosmetics. It demonstrates strong financial efficiency with high returns and a negative cash conversion cycle, meaning it collects from customers faster than it pays suppliers. Its diverse brand portfolio, spanning 37 brands across all segments, allows it to serve a wide range of consumers globally. L'Oreal is also an innovative leader, with 21 research centers and over 600 patents filed in 2023. It continues to push boundaries with products like the Airlight Pro and tech like the Color Me virtual makeover tool. Operationally, it's highly scalable, running ISO-certified factories and producing over 6 billion beauty products annually with strict ethical standards. Lastly, it's committed to sustainability, working with compliant suppliers and aiming for net zero carbon emissions by 2050. However, L'Oreal faces some challenges. It has a narrow product focus, heavily centered on women, missing growth in male and aging markets. Its operations, while effective, offer limited long-term uniqueness, as many are easy to imitate. And in parts of Asia, it still lags behind competitors in market share. Now on to Estée Lauder. The company boasts a strong liquidity position with the highest short-term financial ratios among competitors. Its operational infrastructure is efficient, using specialized plants and a responsive logistics system. It also shows a solid commitment to sustainable and ethical sourcing. But Estée Lauder faces its own weaknesses. It has volatile financial performance and holds inventory longer than competitors, hurting cash flow. It also shows lower asset efficiency, generating less revenue per asset than L'Oreal. Its advantage in AI and AR is not sustainable long-term, as others can catch up, and its reliance on department stores poses risks as retail trends shift towards digital. In summary, L'Oreal is the most financially consistent, innovative, and operationally scalable, but it needs to expand in underserved markets and diversify its product focus. Estée Lauder has solid strengths, but must improve financial stability, digital innovation, and sales channel strategy to keep up with global leaders like L'Oreal. How many of you know Coty belongs to the beauty, cosmetics, and personal care industry? Together with L'Oreal as the market leader, Estée Lauder and Shiseido as its major competitors, the industry is estimated to value at $557.24 billion in 2023 and is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 7.7% from 2024 to 2030. The beauty and personal care market has been a powerhouse of growth and innovation over the last few years, with self-care and wellness becoming more and more important to consumers worldwide. Speaking of competing companies, the cosmetic industry is controlled by several multinational corporations such as L'Oreal, Estee Lauder companies, and of course Coty Inc. The L'Oreal Group is widely known to be the leading beauty manufacturer in the world with revenues of over $44 billion in 2023. However, the industry isn't dominated by L'Oreal alone, as more and more companies have improved each year to become widely known globally, such as the impending rise of Estee Lauder and Shiseido. The beauty, cosmetics, and personal care industry may have a lot of products and offerings belonging to it, yet we shouldn't shy away from the presence of substitutes that the market could avail, such as cosmetic procedures such as Botox, lip fillers, microneedling, essentially enhancement to the face and body, fashion and accessories which could be a form of personal expression and aesthetics without the need for face makeup. Lastly, with the advancement of technology, the availability of digital and virtual filters that could enhance images to make it seem like one is using cosmetics. Now let's take a look at the Porter's 5 Forces analysis for the cosmetics industry. The threat of new entrants is weak due to high capital requirements, strong brand loyalty, and economies of scale. Established companies dominate distribution channels and customer trust, making it difficult for newcomers to compete, though niche brands occasionally enter the market. The bargaining power of suppliers is generally strong, especially among raw material and high-quality service suppliers who are few and often monopolistic. Suppliers provide essential, non-differentiated inputs, making beauty firms reliant on maintaining good relationships. The bargaining power of customers is moderately strong, since while customers are numerous and not highly concentrated, some cosmetics and toiletries consumers are price sensitive, while others value unique brand experiences and differentiated products. The threat of substitute is moderately weak, with few effective alternatives to cosmetics. While health and beauty care products or exercise exist as substitutes, they either lack immediate results or comparable performance. Still, other consumers might choose more affordable alternatives due to the price constraints. Industry rivalry is strong, marked by intense competition among many similarly sized players globally. Slow industry growth in key markets like the US and Asia intensifies rivalry, pushing firms to compete on price, product design, and market segmentation. For incumbent companies, the industry is competitive with a good number of competitors, but also a profitable industry, which means companies need to find their own advantages to stay in the competition. Now we move on to Pestle Analysis. For political factors, international trade policies are becoming more stringent. The cosmetics industry is especially vulnerable to global tensions. Conflicts in sourcing regions like the Middle East can disrupt the supply of key natural ingredients. Regulations like the US Personal Care Product Safety Act and EU bans demand strict compliance with product safety and labeling. And in protectionist countries, export restrictions and the complex trade rules make it harder to move ingredients and products across borders. The industry similarly grapples with the ripple effects of high inflation and economic uncertainty, weakening consumer purchasing power and limiting spending on non-essentials like cosmetics. And it leads many to seek budget-friendly alternatives or so-called dupes. Currency shifts raise costs and affect profits. Sales festivals like 11/11 spike short-term sales but may boost or strain forecasts and stock planning. Ever grabbed a lipstick because your fave celeb swears by it, or skipped a brand after a scandal? That's the power of today's culture. Beauty demand now rides on trends, wellness hype, and consumer activism such as the boycott or cancel culture. Even partnerships are risky. One wrong move and the brand's reputation tanks. Plus, consumers are shifting towards anti-aging must-haves and gender-neutral picks. From AI that matches your skin tone to AR that lets you try on makeup in bed, tech is transforming beauty. AI boosts marketing and personalization, while automation sharpens forecasting and production. But brands must stay agile, protecting IP, managing vendors, and complying with data privacy laws like GDPR. Operating globally requires navigating a patchwork of legal frameworks. Compliance with regulations like California's Toxic-Free Cosmetics Act, the US Fair Packaging and Labeling Act, and state-level bans on animal testing directly shape product formulations and labeling. These environmental and legal obligations not only influence product development but also drive up costs through compliance costs, licensing requirements, and intellectual property disputes. The beauty industry is both the source and victim of water shortages, using a staggering 10.4 million tons of water a year, contributing to the very problem it faces. That's a lot of water, enough to make you rethink that extra face wash. As water scarcity becomes a bigger issue, brands are turning to waterless products, sustainable sourcing, and eco-friendly packaging, making it a smart move but also a challenge since, as mentioned, consumers are increasingly choosing eco-conscious brands. In the dynamic beauty industry, companies compete not only on products but on how they can position themselves across markets and categories. This strategic group map focuses on L'Oreal, Estée Lauder, and Coty Inc, while including other players for broader context. The map uses two key dimensions. On the x-axis, we have brand and category breadth, from focused to diversified across skincare, makeup, fragrance, and more. A broader scope allows firms to reach more segments and reduce risk. On the y-axis, we have product focus, ranging from mass market to luxury. This reflects branding, pricing, and target consumers. L'Oreal is on the top right, with a broad portfolio and a strong balance between luxury and mass. Its Luxe division makes up about 37% of sales. Estée Lauder is top left, with a luxury dominant focus and a narrower product range. 84% of its revenue is from prestige brands. Coty Inc is central, with moderate breadth and a hybrid strategy. 62% of its sales come from prestige, but it still competes in the mass market. This map illustrates how the three companies occupy distinct positions in the beauty landscape, but L'Oreal stands out for its scale and versatility. Its wide portfolio and dual market approach give it strong adaptability and leadership in an ever-evolving industry landscape. Now we move on to our future key success factors. First, scientific and dermatological credibility. Consumers today demand proof, not just promises. That's why scientific credibility is a make or break factor. L'Oreal leads with strong dermatological brands like La Roche-Posay and patented ingredients like Procylane. Estée Lauder holds its ground through Clinique built on a dermatologist-developed heritage. But Coty falls short here. It focuses more on fragrance and licensed names, lacking the scientific depth of its competitors. Second, luxury and prestige brand mastery. The luxury segment is booming, growing twice as fast as mass market beauty. Estée Lauder dominates this space with ultra-premium brands like La Mer and Tom Ford, known for high margins and customer loyalty. L'Oreal competes strongly with luxury icons like Lancôme and YSL Beauty. Coty, however, depends heavily on licensed fashion brands like Gucci and Burberry, giving it less control over long-term brand equity and profitability. Third, dominance in China and travel retail. With China being the world's largest beauty market and travel retail a major luxury driver, these are non-negotiable for success. Estée Lauder excels here, earning 40% of its revenue from Asia and thriving in duty-free channels. L'Oreal generates 25% of its sales from China with localized brands like USI. Coty, meanwhile, lags behind. Only 6% of its sales come from China, leaving it exposed to stagnation in Western markets. Fourth, ownership of emerging categories. Owning high-growth categories like dermacosmetics, clean beauty, and men's grooming is critical. L'Oreal made smart moves, acquiring CeraVe, a viral sensation on TikTok. Estée Lauder responded with Dr. Jart Plus, a K-beauty leader. Coty again trails behind. Kylie Skin underperformed, and it lacks a strong presence in these emerging trends. And finally, supply chain agility. In a trend-driven industry, speed matters. L'Oreal boasts a 6-month innovation cycle, quickly responding to viral demand. Estée Lauder, while focused on luxury craftsmanship, moves slower. Coty, unfortunately, faces supply chain inefficiencies, delaying product rollouts and weakening its ability to compete in fast-moving segments. In short, companies that lead in science, luxury, market reach, trend ownership, and speed are the ones shaping the future of beauty. And right now, that future favors L'Oreal and Estée Lauder.